How about a nice friendly welcome for Tasso?
Whoa, you're very kind. You're applauding and I haven't done a thing yet. I appreciate that. Wow. What a show. I can hardly wait to see what I'm going to do up here. Here's something that's kind of cute. Isn't much, but it's easy. Same trick, a little easier. You like it. I do it again. Oh, we have so many pretty girls on this show, and only one dressing room for all of us. They put a curtain in the middle, but you can see right through it. Yeah, I don't care. I let the girls look. With the music, maestro. Can you speed it up a little bit there? Kick the monkey you got there. Slow down the music. Oh my God.
And they never seen the cup trick, the way I did it on the wire. I was lucky enough to be the first one to come to America with that cup trick. Later on, a lot of Chinese girls started it, and dogs did it, and monkeys did it, and you name it. But I was the first one in those years, in 52, 53, 54.
What has juggling and comedy brought to your life?
It was my life. It was my life. I mean, I started juggling when I was 14 years old, actually earlier, because my father and my mother, they were all jugglers. There was always rings and clubs and everything flying around in the kitchen and all, and I had it on my head and get out of the way. I grew up that way. So it was in my head. So when my father sent me to the military school and the end of the war to get me out of Berlin, sent me to Bavaria, after the military school was closed in 45, we went out to the farms with 150 kids. And our parents were up north, you know, in Berlin and everywhere else. And so we just walked out to the farms and we said, can you use somebody? Can can I have a job? Can I watch your cows or something? But I wanted to go back to Berlin. I was a big city boy. So I started juggling I took a piece of wood or something and I was juggling. I'm going to go back to Berlin. I want to be a juggler. And that's what I did after a year and a half, finally, when communication was established through the Red Cross. And they sent me home to Berlin and I went to my uncle. My father was already, he died in a war. He died in Russia. My mother passed away a few years before that. I had a stepmother, but she had 2 kids and I didn't want to bother her. I went with her for a few weeks. I lived with her for a few weeks, but I knew I was a drain on her. Nothing to eat in Berlin. It was in East Berlin still. It's very hard. So I looked up my uncle, which was a juggler, and I told him, hey, I want to be a juggler. I want to be a juggler. My uncle's name was Little Knox, yeah, little K-N-O-X, like the Knox over here, but a different spelling. He was a small figure, and he did a comedy juggling act, but silently. He didn't talk. I had another uncle, which was also a comedy juggler, which was not really related, but we called him Uncle Rep. His name was King Rep. He was a big name in the business. And I looked up to him. Oh. And the top hats that I'm using today, the different colored top hats, came from him.
Did your act ever change because of a sudden change in circumstances and it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to you?
No, it took a long time to change. Like I said, I wanted to get rid of the slug wire, and I did this because they didn't know the difference at the Merv Griffin show between the slug wire and a trapeze. So I took advantage of that. That's when I got rid of it. And I came into nightclubs, into one-nighters, so to speak, and they needed more time. They said, Dieter, you do a great job, but with 6, 7, 8 minutes, we can't do much. You got to do 20 minutes. So I had to, I was forced to add. But if you juggle for 20 minutes, you start throwing tomatoes. You can't do that. So that's when I started to do comedy and do monologue and all that. That was the reason I changed into comedy, I think, part of the reason.